Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Another week starts. I wonder, have you had a good weekend? Oh, I really hope so. Well, this week in English, we are going to carry on diary writing, but there are some big changes. This week, the diary that we're going to write is about a real person, and it's about something that really happened. I wonder if you can think what that might be about. Got some pictures behind me that might give you a clue. Yes, we're going to write about the moon landing. And the famous person whose diary we're going to write is Neil Armstrong. You got it. Well, another difference from last week, it's not only a real person and it's a real event, but we're going to be typing it on purple mash. I'm really excited to see what you come up with, but not quite so fast. We're not going to get down to typing today. Today, we're going to start to think about some really wonderful words that we might use in our diary. Really good ways of describing things, really good verbs, so action words that we could use to make our writing extra special. Before we get down to business, I think we should warm up our fingers. Mine are quite chilly. And I've been thinking we could use some Play-Doh again. Again, if you don't have Play-Doh, it's not so much of a problem. You can still do lots and lots of finger wiggles. But if you have Play-Doh, take a tiny piece. And with your pinchy fingers, that's these ones mainly, we're going to pinch tiny little stars to get us thinking about space. So I've got a little ball of Play-Doh, roll it in my hands, and round it I'm going to pinch 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I'm going to make it look a little bit more star-like. Pinch a bit there, pinch a bit there. There we go. And there's my first little star. I think I'm going to try to make 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. There's another one. Oh, got to make it perfect. Got to be quite picky about this. So I'm going to carry on making some more stars. See if you can make 5 stars too. See you in a minute. So here's a picture of Neil Armstrong, the first man to walk on the moon. Have a look at him in his astronaut suit. What kind of a person do you think he was? Now you're going to need your home learning book and a pencil. So pause the video while you go and get them. And then, looking at the picture, write down some words that you think might describe him. Then go on. Building up our vocabulary. Right, we're ready to get to work. We're going to look at a series of pictures from Apollo 11's mission to the moon. We're going to use them to build up some really great phrases that we could use in our diary writing. Our first picture shows Apollo 11 on the launch pad. Next to it, you can see our normal-sized house. Apollo 11 was 110 meters tall. A normal house is only about 6 meters tall. So you can imagine, or maybe you can't, how incredibly tall Apollo 11 was. Pause the video now and have a think about some other words that come to mind as you look at the size of this enormous rocket. How do you think Neil Armstrong felt when he saw it for the first time? How did you do? Here are some words that I thought of as I was looking at the rocket. It's tall, immense, towering, intimidating, which means it's a little bit scary, grand, massive, slender, because it's so thin, maybe like an arrow or like a needle piercing the sky. It's incredible. It's also full of hope, and it's standing proudly. I wonder if we thought of any of the same words, or if you've got very different ones from mine. Our next picture shows Apollo 11 at the moment of blast-off when it's just taking off into the sky. What an exciting moment that must have been for Neil Armstrong, as well as maybe a little bit nerve-wracking. Maybe he was worried things would go wrong, or maybe he was really confident that everything would go right. What do you think? And what do you think he could hear from the top of the rocket? Do you think he could hear any booming sounds? Could he see any of the bright flashes and sparks from underneath? Pause the video and have a look and have a go at writing down all your words. Wow, as I watched that video, I thought that Neil Armstrong might be inside his rocket feeling scared, excited, nervous, ready, prepared. He's had a lot of training, well trained, confident that everything would go well, happy that he was setting off at last, proud that he'd been chosen to go on the mission, and maybe grateful too that he had the chance to go all the way to the moon. Also, the launch would have been very noisy and loud, maybe smoky and bright. I wonder what he could hear from inside the rocket. And here is an astronaut standing on the moon. You can see they've been walking around because there are footprints in the dusty surface in the foreground. They've also already put up the American flag, and you can see the Eagle landing craft just at the left-hand corner of the picture. So there are two things to think about here. What did Neil Armstrong think the moon was like? Was it dusty and rocky? And how did he feel walking around on it? So in your home learning book, make two columns, one for what the moon was like, and the other for how Neil Armstrong felt as he walked around on it. Pause the video and see how many words you can write in each column. How did you get on? Here are some of the words that I found. Underneath the picture, these are words I thought might describe the moon. It might be dusty, cold, airless, rocky, unfriendly, distant, inhuman, lonely, untouched because nobody had ever been there before, and also huge. It looks so small in our sky, but could be really big when you actually get there. And then I wondered how Neil Armstrong would be feeling, and those words are in the box. I thought he might be relieved that he'd got there, interested to find out what it was like. He might be concentrating and busy and excited. He only had 2 hours to do all the jobs he had to do on the moon. He also might be a bit hot in his costume and maybe feeling a bit trapped because he was all covered up from head to toe. He might have been feeling proud or nervous. He might have been amazed at what he saw there. He also might have felt a little bit lonely, so far from every other human apart from Buzz and Michael, and he might have been very wondering about what he saw there. Well, our last picture shows Apollo 11 just after it's landed in the sea just off the coast of America. How do you think Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins felt as they landed down in the sea at last? They'd got safely back from space. Well, pause the video just like you did before. Have a go at imagining being Neil Armstrong landing back on Earth. You can see they're going to be safe. There's a ship in the distance and a lifeboat just alongside them. People are ready for them to come home. And here are the words that I thought of. I thought they might be feeling relieved, happy, maybe a bit sad because they'd come back from somewhere they'd trained for so many years to go to. Glad to be home, grateful that they'd had a chance to go. They might be tired or even exhausted, much better word than tired. Feeling proud, definitely. Possibly eager for fresh air after how many days stuck in their cabin? And they also might be feeling quite bumped around and jolted, having passed through the atmosphere on their way home. Well done, you thought of some brilliant words today. I'm really, really impressed. As we finish this lesson, what I'd like you to do is to go back to your school website and you'll find a link there for a piece of music written by a composer called Gustav Holst. He wrote this piece of music about 100 years ago and he was trying to imagine what space was like. He wrote a short piece of music about each of the planets that he knew about. This one is called the planet Venus. So listen to it with your eyes closed and see if you can understand what he was trying to say through his music. He's trying to make us imagine how big space is and how amazing it is, how awesome it is. So I really hope you enjoy it. See you tomorrow.